Good morning.
Hey.
So I hear you had a visitor. So
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you know that he not completely just lied to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're on.
I don't care. He did. So I'm gonna meet with him.
Roll that
You
beautiful
don't assume that I'm
beautiful
taking a
picture.
Oh, I'm glad you went. Oh, that's great. I think you should all go out
And I
more
will
often.
have a big favor, because I said, hey,
Oh,
Shane, did you call this
you
guy
take
back?
this one?
I did.
Yeah, you take this one.
Because I was gonna be out in the afternoon and I didn't want him to call back.
Oh.
The new guy.
All right, let's get our session
Oh,
started.
my goodness.
Mrs. Watkins here is on the TID.
Yes.
Go ahead.
In 2015, the Seneca County Commissioners appointed and created the Seneca County Transportation Improvement District and had that authorized through ODOT. The appointees and members to the TID are one of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners, the Seneca County Engineer, Auditor, Tiffin Mayor, City of Fostoria Mayor or designee, Speaker of the House Representative of the General Assembly appointee, and President of the Senate of the General Assembly appointee. Their term expires September 24th, 2017. Everybody's term expires. So I'm here today to just get you ready for September so you can mull things over. I brought to you the creation of the Transportation Improvement District and the two ways you can appoint members. And this is per Ohio Revised Code. You have two opportunities and two ways to do this. The Seneca County chose the second route, which is number 2, which is to have 5 members appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, 1 non-voting member appointed by the Speaker of the House, 1 non-voting member appointed by the President of the Senate and General Assembly, and then you can choose other non-voting members, and then it explains their 2-year terms. I just wanted to present to you today the information stating such, so that you have it to mull over for September when the TID comes back to you to ask for the reappointment of members to the TID. Mark has been set up as the president or chairman of the Transportation Improvement District. So he came along today to talk to you about his thoughts and feelings for appointments as well.
Yeah, I think just as we go forward, you know, there are a lot of opportunities for the Transportation Improvement District, which are the acronyms for the TID. We are already seeing the benefits and through some applications and specifically with work for the city of Tiffin. I would urge caution, or not necessarily caution, when it comes to non-voting appointees. I think it's best to have this group small and lean so that we can effectively represent our constituents. And you know, the more we stick with our governmental entities as far as that goes, I think the better we're going to be as far as the appointees go. So, you know, I think we reach a critical mass with all committees. You get too many people, get too many. You know, it's going to be up to you guys who you think is going to be the best suited to do that. But I think the limiting that size would be.
Well, is there any concerns about those who are members at this point?
No.
And why would we not just be?
Well, because you have that option to
Yeah, I
appoint
get it.
more and
We-
more and
we
more.
went- We were through this 2 years ago.
Yep.
And considered exactly who it is we wanted
Yep.
on.
No, I
Made the request
Yep.
and they accepted, so it ain't broke, as far as I can see.
Fine.
So why would we change?
Good.
And I know the one part that we did we get it clarified again? The question recently was that this group, I think it was research, we do not need bylaws, but they need to have officers or something
have to have-
filed with ODOT or?
We are required to have officers, so we did our organizational development meeting last week, and we have the officers elected. We can have bylaws, we don't have to have bylaws. The TID opted that they would like to have bylaws, so we have already sent those over to Derek, an example, to be reviewed and adapted for Seneca County. And then the only other change to membership that we discussed was adding regional planning as a non-voting member, because when this was established, we understand that regional planning was in a flux, and they were not added due to that situation. And Mark and I discussed it, and we thought it was a good idea for regional planning to be a non-voting member, because we have a vested interest in this as well.
And currently, the ones appointed, was it Senator Burke and Representative Reineke?
That is
That's who
correct.
but by the request through the speaker and the, okay.
Yes.
I thought so, but.
Yep.
So we elected Mark as chairman, Aaron Mons as vice chairman, and Julie Atkins as secretary treasurer. For our slate of officers.
And then we're working with, coming up with the right language with the bylaws and how we're gonna appoint it, but to have regional planning work with the secretary treasurer as the administrative agent for the TID.
So so regional planning is gonna be a non-voting member, so SIDC's also gonna be a non-voting member? Since we're in charge of the infrastructure and the economic development county?
I mean, others can attend the meetings, but that would be, they're a governmental, or they're not a governmental related agency. So do you, I mean, when you talk about a limited number of
Yeah, I guess as far as I'm concerned, I would certainly think we should seek counsel from SIDC and our chambers, but I don't believe they would necessarily need to be members of the committee.
Sure.
But that is certainly your decision, so.
Well, one thing about that is that, projects and things that people are working on, I could see it being a benefit. If not, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just thinking out loud here, because you might be representing certain projects, you wouldn't have any potential of, if you're a
I mean,
government.
here's my
of
thing. I
conflict
mean,
of
I don't,
interest type of-
from SIDC's point of view, from my point of view, it isn't a feeling left out or feeling left in. It's a matter of, we're doing the applications typically for the grants. We did the application for the last grant. We put together the transportation improvement plan update. I don't know if it makes sense logistically, which makes more sense. I think we need to be at the meeting. If what you're saying is it makes more sense
Agreed.
for us not to be a non-voting member, I guess I'm okay with that. I just think it's critical we're there at the meeting. But, emotionally, I don't have any, or there isn't I'm not gonna feel like, wow, I'm not part of the in crowd because we're not part of the group. I'm just expressing.
Because you are part of the process.
Yeah, you-
Yeah, so
Yes.
I just wanted to articulate that I think we need to be there. And if you all, from an administrative standpoint, think it's better for us not to officially be a member, I just want, if that's the thought process, then that's okay, as long as we're all on the same page, that we need to be part of the process. So that's really what I'm saying.
And I think there.
And that was really the intent of my question.
I think there could be a little bit of change. I mean, we understand the flux that went with regional planning over the years, and we may look at if they're the administrative agent for the TID, and this is definitely going to be with the TID's bylaws on, maybe they will be the overseer of when the potential grant applications come in and we produce those to the TID, and then saying, okay, these are okay to submit and those types of things, because they did discuss that the next time there's a TID application that comes up, they would like them submitted to the TID prior to going in for application so they can review them and make the best determination on who applies.
Well, to Mark's point, when we looked at this in the beginning, we chose the option that was the simplest and cleanest. We continue to stay with that. So we don't need to make this thing any more complicated than it is, I don't believe.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I don't have any problem with economic development, Seneca Economic Development being a voting member or a non-voting member. That is something I think that we would take your advice on, because my personal opinion is they ought to be a voting member because of the amount of time they have invested and because of the advice that they give and the knowledge they bring to the table. But if it's simpler not to do that, that's fine as well. At this point, David and Bryce are there, and they have a number of committees of which they are part. If they are a voting member of X committee and Dave is no longer with us, and they're not a voting member of this, when they would set priorities, they may very well not come to this because they're not part of it. So I just think from a priority standpoint, from where they're setting, you ought to consider that.
Yeah, and what we're setting, the transportation priorities in the transportation committee, and the TID has adopted the same priorities. And we had a long vetting process for transportation priorities. So we should all be, at this point, working off the same hymnal. And so that's almost the more important aspect of this, is the vetting of the priorities. The TID becomes the vehicle to carry the ball on the grant application. So.
And we have to do this in September, the reappointment, and which, I'd like to think about it a little bit, because I can see it two ways, on that, and again, just because of simplicity and you know, interest, that kind of thing. Less conflicts, anything like that that could come up. And I can think through that process.
Well, I mean, I just like the idea because, in my opinion, they would be less parochial in the worst sense of the word than would somebody protecting their individual departments.
Anything else with the TID?
Good work, you guys. I mean, getting the
Yes.
grant, getting it organized. That's fantastic.
Yeah, okay, any other topics, anything else about the TID anybody would like to add?
Mark's like, I got a bridge to go.
Gotta go. See you guys.
I
Thank you,
know how
Mark.
much you like meetings.
Like, loves meetings.
Okay, any other topic for the work session? What would we like to talk about today? What do we got on our mind
Yes, this
here?
is a recent work session. The Corsa annual meeting is coming up at the end of the month, and for some reason, they still have David and Ben as voting representatives on here.
Will you see if they'll go?
So I figured we should update this.
Alright.
They need a voting representative and then an alternate.
All right, Holly, Stacy, and Shane Thomas.
So
Here we go.
when-
Is it a,
when is the
an
meeting?
actual meeting?
Yeah, August 25th is the meeting.
I don't believe I can.
You don't actually have to go, we just have to have a voting record on,
Oh, okay.
members on record. If you are there, that way you can actually vote.
Okay, yeah.
Then it
I
doesn't,
would just like to get it updated with current commissioners.
whatever you want to submit, but I would not be able to go that day.
Congratulations. Thank you for the appointments.
Thanks.
All things.
Lot of help.
CAO.
Is that another official appointment, or
Yeah,
No, we can't take action, it's work session.
like the one I missed? Like the one I missed last week, when
No.
everybody was cajoling about it, and then there was an appointment made and I missed it.
the chair can make, committee appointments in or out of session, doesn't matter.
So is that an
And make up
official
rules as he
appointment?
goes.
That
if
was
he
just-
wants.
Yeah, right.
What you saw is making a recommendation out of session, yes.
I guess that was a yes.
Let me check the rule book, it's good.
You know, we didn't do that actually in the meeting, I don't know why.
No, I was just looking for volunteers so I could tell them, we don't need
Yeah.
to do it by resolution.
We've
Because
got,
it's any of the three of you have the same powers, it's just they want it on record who is supposed to be the person.
Fill out the form and send it back in.
Yeah.
and this,
Have either, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we've got some adjustments coming up later in the month for our meeting schedule we could discuss too. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask if anybody had heard anything on juvenile probate, where that's at. It seems to be dragging a little bit.
The programming?
The programming, the design, getting ready for bid.
No, we still have plenty of time, I mean, because we can't get physically in there until probably January or February, so.
Yeah.
I know they've been having monthly planning session meetings with Jay, but I haven't heard anything.
And
We have a meeting scheduled for Thursday with all the judges and the clerk about we're moving schedules and who's gonna do what when and what's the timing of this gonna be. We're trying
Definitely need
to
that.
set
for
that
the-
kind of a Gantt chart out in advance, so we know whose turn it is to move in.
And then you're specifically talking about the reprogramming, the cost of
But
that.
that would all tie into
Yep.
when that would need to be ready. So if we say that, juvenile is gonna move in February of 18, then we know that we've gotta back that up and make certain that things are ready to go by then.
Well, we're not gonna be able to set that move date until,
Yeah, I know, but at some point, we're gonna set a move date, then have to back it up from there. It may be June, I don't know, but
yeah, my gut was saying June, July next year.
that could be. 'Cause you gotta
Just
get
by the
everybody
time you
else-
get everybody out, and get everything redone, and then
Right.
get them moved.
Yeah. Just seems like we're spending a lot of time on reprogramming when there's not that much to do. So I just thought we would be in a position to get some bids by now, so it's.
And I know
Didn't know if there
John,
was something I didn't know, or if there was.
yeah, and I've not been part of
information.
those, Stacy has been, and I know John Lunston mentioned yesterday to Abby when we were kind of doing the meeting with the Board of Elections stuff, because just talking, I know they talked about the next meeting and I kind of tuned
I
out.
can have an update for you guys next week.
So, you did mention meeting schedule. Our plan is we have a 1 o'clock ditch hearing in Wood County next Tuesday.
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock.
At
but-
2
o'clock, 2 o'clock,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
we
we have to
leave
leave
by
here at
1.
1.
Yeah,
So we're going to do, just so everyone knows, we're gonna do a noon meeting on Tuesday next, and then leave from here to the hearing in Wood County. And then we'll decide also, I
the
guess,
the following week will be on Thursday, 10 o'clock on the 31st, instead of the 29th, as both Shane and I are
right.
taking part in the commissioners thing in Washington, for Ohio.
So the following week will be Thursday instead of Tuesday, it'll be the regular time, right?
Yep.
Nick will send out reminders.
For, forewarned is forearmed.
I
think you made that rule up.
Okay, any other topics for the work session here? We've got 15 minutes.
One other thing, Heidelberg had done a study about busing in the greater Tiffin area. And it's a pretty well done study, actually. And the next step is to do a study on cost feasibility. And there are some players that are willing to put some money into it. There may be an ask coming to the county to participate in that. So I think we'll address it in our next transportation committee. I met with Mary from SCAT yesterday to get her view on it. And it's worth exploring at this point as to whether or not it would be feasible.
Yeah,
for College
I
students.
know Scats had a number of conversations about doing a regular route.
Yeah, do a regular route. Mike's the only one old enough to remember when buses actually ran into.
Yes, actually, if you go to the Bears Den, that's where the bus depot was.
Really?
Yeah, there you have another bit of tidbit. Tommy, is that right?
They're close.
Where was it exactly?
No, that's good.
That's good, okay.
Yeah, there was a pastime bar there, and there was the bus depot. And I think the pastime was there because the bus depot was there, basically. Yeah. Well, there you have it.
So I remember them doing the study and participating in some of their focus groups or something they did. So this is to do
I really can't
you've
remember
got some people might invest to actually get it going for the equipment for another study, or you don't know yet?
All the above. There's some people willing to invest in doing the study, which you need to go for ODOT funding, and ODOT has a pilot program that would fund operations for a given amount of time. So the idea being to get people out to the industrial park, get people out to Job and Family Services, out to Walmart, Kroger,
Hospital.
Yeah, and
universities
I mean,
connected.
it was also a college thing too, to get the kids from Heidelberg out to
Right.
shopping.
Shopping.
And theoretically, take kids between campuses for different classes when they cooperate.
This second phase is a planning phase for the transit route and to understand the cost feasibility and where the route stops would be and timing and things like that. So that's where the potential ask will be coming for, is the cost of that.
Because Mary had funding for kind of the bus stop.
She's got
shelter thing.
She's got them, yeah, 7 of them or something.
Linda started that years ago, quite
Yeah.
honestly, because she had come to the county and asked if the corner of Court and Washington could be a stop,
Yeah.
if we could put a shelter.
Yeah.
That's been working for a few years.
Yeah, and I don't know culturally if busing, public transportation, it's not really a Midwest thing. So it'll be interesting to see adoption and how long it would take for adoption to happen. But you can certainly see where it'd be beneficial.
Right. Yeah, because I think when you get the students coming from outside of the area, especially international students, and
Right.
they've talked about that they're used to an on-demand type transportation. You wave down a taxi, wave down a bus, and the SCAT drivers, all they can do is wave at them and keep going because those are
Yeah.
scheduled. Those are scheduled, so yeah. So good.
That's why you ride a bicycle, it's on demand.
It's funny what different cultures do, Shane. You
Yeah.
know, and, for example, in conversation with guys that frequently travel to China, they will use the back of the the back of a dump truck as a bus.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, and there'll be lots of people on it all the time. But they will notice that there is nobody riding a bike.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, why don't you guys use bikes? They say, oh, no, we're not poor. Poor people ride bikes.
Yeah.
So that is just a,
Status.
it's a, you know, cultural thing, I guess.
We did get a recommendation yesterday from Feller Finch on the Wolf Creek project. I emailed that to you guys yesterday. The recommendation is to go with the lowest bidder. So I will prepare and accept the bid for next week, for next session. And we'll, I've already talked to Feller Finch. He wasn't completely sure when I talked to him yesterday about starting the contract, because it's like, he couldn't remember what the agreement had talked about.
Start date.
Oh, well, there, it included putting the contract together. And it's been too long since we did that agreement with them. I wasn't sure either, so we're gonna work through those steps and get that moving. Which, it sounds like nothing's gonna be done until after harvest anyway. They need the crops to be down before they can begin work. Just in initial conversations with the vendor.
That'll be too cold.
Nope. As long as it's.
Then they're planting crops.
Yeah. I would hope, and I don't know for sure, but I would hope that that could get done before crops be planted. As long- I would, but I'm not 100%. We can find all that out.
I don't remember the timeframe, but I have to look at it again, and I sent that to Brent and forgot to go up and grab it. So.
Okay, let's go off for a little bit here. You got 10 minutes before we.